SUVs and trucks have come a very, very long way in the last 15, 20 years. And now what we're looking at is a mixture between crossovers, minivans, and the SUV. And there is no better example in my mind than the FX from Infiniti. Now what I'm standing beside is a 2005 FX45. The price range for the FX is between $53,200 and $69,700. Now this is what I'm driving this week. It's an FX45 with the tech package and the 20-inch chrome wheels. That is correct. There are two engine choices for the FX. The first is a 3.5-liter V6 that puts out 280 horsepower. The other one under this hood is a 4.5-liter V8 that puts out 315 horsepower and 329 pound-feet of torque. Now let me tell you that the combination engine transmission for this truck feel like they've been blended together to work perfectly together. The ride of this truck could be best characterized as being a sports sedan. You really don't feel like you're driving an SUV. The suspension is very taut. The problem with that is that it has very little travel. Combine that with low-profile, ultra-large tires, and you'll have a vehicle that over bumpy roads will definitely start to bounce around left and right and will not be particularly comfortable. However, on a smooth highway, this car feels like it's glued to the tarmac. Generally speaking, it's reasonably quiet inside the cabin. You're very isolated from what is going on outside. However, tire noise will filter inside the cabin. Steering, fairly precise, actually quite good. The pedal is nice and firm. However, it does require a fair amount of pressure for the vehicle to come to a full stop. Now, I have to say, the styling of the truck may not please everybody, but it is certainly something special. It doesn't look like any other SUV, whether it be the 35 or the 45, and I think it's probably a slightly nicer design than even the Murano, which shares many of its components with this vehicle. The cabin of the FX is proper for a luxury vehicle. You have nice materials, nice textures, good fit and finish, and an array of buttons from left to right, regardless where you're looking at. Some of the nicer ones, now I'm not a fan, and I've said it before, of steering wheel mounted controls. However, on the Infiniti, kind of like the Hondas and the Acuras, they actually work quite well, and these little toggle switches are very, very intuitive and easy to figure out. When you get to the center part of the dash, well, this is where you have the HVAC, Navi, and audio controls. They're not exactly jumbled together, but all the buttons look the same, feel the same. So it's a question of looking down and making sure you're pressing on the right button. But it looks good, and it's something that whomever is looking into this type of vehicle will easily adapt to because of the styling. Some of the plastics, though, do feel a little bit cheaper, but it won't affect the quality or the general impression of luxury of this vehicle. The steering wheel is nice and meaty. It's got a nice grip. Navigation screen is nice and up high. However, it's not touch screen, which I really, really like. And once you're closing in on $70,000, $72,000, even before taxes, I think it's mandatory. Something that is also very interesting is that this vehicle has a rear view camera, so when you put it in reverse, you can see exactly what's going on right behind you. Very nice touch. Seats are fairly comfortable, good support. Actually, some of the nicer seats I've driven in Nissan products in the recent past. Rear room is a little bit tight for two adults, but it'll do even on a longer distance. The trunk is a fair size as well, but generally the cabin, the impression that you get is that it's actually quite tight, especially when you look at the overall size of the vehicle. Now, it's quite comfortable in general. Everything is pretty much fine, but for most people who are actually buying these type of vehicle that want the utility, this will not suit their needs as far as interior volume is concerned. The world of SUVs is now more about a status symbol than it actually is about utility. So they should be called sport luxury vehicles. And the first proof of that is right here, 20-inch chrome. This vehicle I would certainly not take off-roading. However, Infiniti and Nissan's Atessa all-wheel drive system is actually quite capable, but these tires are absolutely useless when it comes to the rough stuff. It's actually very enjoyable to drive. Like I said, it feels more like a sports sedan with the extra cargo than an actual SUV. The Infiniti and Nissan reliability is good in general, however, not as good as it used to be in the 90s. So there might be a small compromise there. Build quality is good, but there are still a few rattles inside the cabin of the truck. But it's something that you can generally deal with because as you're driving, the tire noise will probably bury those rattles. It's a nice truck to drive. It's a very strong competitor when it comes to the X5, principally the X5, I have to say, with the 4.4-liter V8. It's a nice truck. If you take it for a test drive, you'll probably enjoy it because you won't feel so lost because it does feel like such a sports sedan.